and swing. Look at this. Larry, no more. We gonna turn this into a party. Come on, lady.
White party, just chilling. You know, this is not virtual reality. This is virtually a reality.
If you're not here in Prince's old house at Puff Party, you ain't nowhere.
Diddy's 2004 election-themed bash in the Hampton was the party everyone wanted to be at. Celebs decked out in all white, champagne everywhere. The party had a vote or die vibe that made it feel like a cultural moment. But here's the thing, what if all that glamour was just a cover? Fast forward to today, and people are saying there was a darker side to that night. Women claiming they were brought in, not as guests, but for intimate time with powerful men. Yeah, it's as unsettling as it sounds. So, what really went down at one of the most talked about parties of the 2000s? And why is it all coming to light now? Let's get into it. It was a night straight out of a movie. A sprawling Hamptons mansion lit up under the stars. Everything decked out in white. The carpets, the furniture, and the dress code was pure perfection. Sean Diddy Combs wasn't just hosting a party, he was making a statement. This was his election-themed white party, pushing the message, vote or die. But beneath the glitz, there were whispers. Years later, those whispers turned into allegations. Some women say they weren't just invited, they were picked. They describe unsettling moments, being told they'd be doing him an honor or obligation. Even the theme, getting young people to vote, feels ironic now. Was it about activism, or was that just a convenient cover? The night looked perfect, but perfection often hides cracks, and now those cracks are impossible to ignore. The party was once hailed as a dazzling fusion of luxury and activism, but now, nearly 2 decades later, allegations are casting a dark shadow over that glamorous night. Was it truly a celebration of influence, or something far more troubling? An anonymous attendee shared a chilling account. Men working under Diddy's direction approached women with unsettling proposals, framing intimate time as an honor. One of her friends, who reluctantly agreed, returned visibly shaken, carrying regrets she couldn't voice. Former staff members have since corroborated these claims. Philip Pines, a former employee, described orchestrating private encounters as part of his duties, suggesting these incidents were no accident, but a repeated pattern. As testimonies pile up, the party's veneer of glamour crumbles. Invitations to mingle with stars reportedly turned into moments where women felt powerless to refuse. The timing of these revelations, years later, raises questions about trauma, fear, and the influence of unchecked power. What was once celebrated as a cultural milestone now seems overshadowed by allegations of control and coercion. Real legacy of that night? It's a story still being unraveled. This isn't the first time we've seen stories like this emerge from the world of the rich and powerful. Think about it. You're a young woman invited to a party hosted by one of the most influential figures in entertainment. You're surrounded by A-listers, photographers, and the allure of luxury. It's an opportunity that seems too good to pass up. But then, the tone shifts. One woman described how the atmosphere at the party changed after she arrived. At first, it was exciting. Everyone was laughing, dancing, and taking pictures. But then people started coming up to me with strange suggestions. She said, it wasn't explicit, but it was clear what they were implying. They made it sound like it was just how things work.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to meet P. Diddy. Oh, like, I'm probably gonna have to sing for him, da-da-da. And so we get there, and that's when stuff got weird. And that's why they lock up our phones, because they know what we see in there, it's he can get in trouble, like right now.
This kind of coercion isn't always loud or forceful. Often, it's subtly framed as a chance to be part of something special, a way to gain favor. For some, the fear of saying no can be paralyzing. How do you push back against someone with that much power? And it wasn't just the women who felt the pressure. Former staffers described a similar dynamic. We were told not to ask questions, just to make sure everything was perfect, they said. It was clear our job wasn't just about the party, it was about protecting the brand. Legal experts argue that this kind of behavior isn't unique to the entertainment world, but it's amplified in environments where wealth and fame dominate. There's this unspoken rule in these circles, said one attorney specializing in power abuse cases. People at the top often operate without accountability because the stakes are so high for everyone around them. These allegations aren't just about Diddy or one party, they're about an entire culture that enables coercion to thrive. The real question isn't just about what happened that night in 2004, but how many other stories like this remain untold? And more importantly, how do we hold those in power accountable when the system itself is designed to protect them? The allegations tied to Diddy's 2004 white party are shocking, but they also reveal something much bigger: how unchecked power thrives in celebrity culture. This isn't just about one man or one event. It's about a system that allows exploitation to flourish under the guise of exclusivity. Why does this keep happening? It starts with the power imbalance. Celebrities wield influence not just in their industry, industries, but in culture as a whole. The lines between professional, personal, and exploitative behavior blur in these environments. People want access to opportunity, to connections, to the lifestyles portrayed in magazines and on Instagram, and that desire for access creates vulnerability. Dr. Jennifer Rhodes, a psychologist who studies power dynamics, explains it like this: the promise of exclusivity creates a psychological pull. People feel special just being in the room. That feeling can make them overlook red flags or situations they'd otherwise avoid. And then there's the fear of speaking out. For many of the women and staff involved, going public wasn't an option at the time. Careers, reputations, and even safety were at risk. Former employee Philip Pines said it plainly: when you work for someone like Diddy, you're not just working for a person, you're working for an empire. If you cross that empire, you could lose everything. It's not just employees or partygoers who face this dilemma. The entertainment industry itself has a history of silencing uncomfortable truths. Many powerful figures have faced allegations, only for those claims to be swept under the rug by settlements, PR teams, or outright intimidation. But the tide is shifting. Movements like Me Too and Time's Up have forced these issues into the spotlight. Survivors are speaking out, demanding accountability, and challenging the very systems that once silenced them. This brings us back to the 2004 White Party. It's not just a story about one night in the Hamptons. It's a reminder of the price of unchecked power and the lengths some will go to protect their influence. So, what's the takeaway? If we're going to hold powerful people accountable, we need to challenge the systems that protect them. Because as long as power goes unchecked, stories like these will keep surfacing. The question isn't just what happened that night, it's what we're willing to do to ensure it doesn't happen again. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Power doesn't thrive in isolation. It grows because people look the other way. They stay silent, dismiss red flags, or prioritize their own interests over doing what's right. And in celebrity circles, this complicity can be almost systematic. It wasn't just Diddy calling the shots. It took an entire network of people to make the event what it was. Planners, assistants, security, PR teams, and more. Each played a role, even if indirectly, in maintaining the night's illusion of perfection. Let's not overlook the guest list, a dazzling array of cultural icons and influencers. Paris Hilton, Mary J. Blige, LL Cool J, Lennox Lewis, and Naomi Campbell were among those in attendance. They were also seen mingling with political figures like Reverend Al Sharpton. These were the people who could make or break trends, who held the attention of millions. Yet, in the glow of celebrity and luxury, uncomfortable realities often go unaddressed. Former staff members have admitted to seeing things that didn't sit right with them, but they also admitted to staying quiet. One employee said, "You don't want to be the one who ruins the party. Everyone there is on Diddy's payroll or under his influence in some way." Speaking up isn't just hard, it feels impossible. It's a pattern we've seen before. From Hollywood executives to sports figures, those at the top often surround themselves with enablers. These enablers may not commit the acts themselves, but their silence and actions help perpetuate harmful behaviors. And what about the high-profile guests? Did they notice anything unusual? Were they aware of the power dynamics at play? Perhaps. But in an environment where image is everything, speaking out might mean risking it all. Cultural critic Bell Hooks once said, "Privilege is not in and of itself bad. What matters is what we do with privilege." The privilege of fame and wealth often comes with an unspoken responsibility to do better, to create safer environments, to challenge harmful norms. But here's the thing. Complicity isn't just about those directly involved. As fans, followers, and consumers, we also play a role. By idolizing celebrities without questioning their actions, by prioritizing their art over accountability, we create an environment where this kind of behavior can thrive. This isn't to place blame on one group or another, but to highlight how deep the roots of silence and complicity run. If we want real change, we have to confront the systems that encourage people to look the other way, whether they're employees, friends, or even fans. So, let's ask the hard questions. What keeps people silent? Is it fear, loyalty, self-preservation? And more importantly, how do we change a culture that rewards silence and punishes truth-telling? Because until we do, stories like these will keep repeating, no matter how many hashtags or movements arise. The accusations against Diddy have opened the door to lawsuits and legal inquiries, shining a harsh light on the entertainment industry's darker corners. If the allegations are true, how much agency did these women truly have? Were they given a real choice, or were they trapped in a web of influence and fear? Lawyer Lisa Bloom, known for representing victims of sexual misconduct, explains, "Consent isn't valid if it's given under pressure. In environments like these, where power dynamics are so skewed, it's easy for coercion to be disguised as choice." Former staff members have also faced scrutiny. Could they be held legally accountable for their roles, even if they were just following orders? Experts say it's a a murky area. While employees might not face criminal charges, their testimonies could be critical in building cases against those in charge. Public opinion has also become a powerful force in this saga. As more allegations emerge, Diddy's reputation has taken a significant hit. His brand, built on an image of success, luxury, and influence, now faces the challenge of overcoming these claims. The fallout isn't just legal, it's social. Some former guests, including celebrities who attended the party, have distanced themselves from the event and its host. Others have remained silent, perhaps to avoid getting dragged into the controversy. Still, these cases are never straightforward. Even with testimonies and evidence, proving coercion and exploitation in a legal context can be challenging. Defense teams often rely on the argument of consensual behavior, shifting the burden of proof on to the accusers. As legal battles continue to unfold, one thing is clear: the world is watching, and the days of unquestioned celebrity power are fading fast. This story isn't just about a party or a headline. It's a wake-up call. It's about the kind of culture we're creating and the power we give to people without asking hard questions. These aren't easy conversations, but they're necessary. So, what do you think? Are we finally ready to demand better from the people we admire? Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. Hit like, share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. See you in the next one.